Hey there, thanks for joining today, guys. Today I wanted to answer a question I got about Squarespace versus WordPress and just kind of talk through some of the big differences between the platforms and give you guys some recommendations and hopefully some knowledge that makes you feel empowered and helps you navigate this sometimes hairy topic. Hey there, Lauren. So first of all, with the difference between Squarespace and WordPress, the first thing I would say to consider is to look at what the platform is going to do for you, not just at the time of launch of your website, but really going forward. So this really comes into play with how user-friendly is the website for you to actually be able to maintain. So some of the key differences between Squarespace and WordPress really come into play here. So with WordPress, I would recommend that if you do have a WordPress site, that you consider either having a developer on retainer or having an ongoing relationship with someone, knowing that you may have some costs just associated with the maintenance of that. So with WordPress, you're going to need to update your plugins in your site and do so in a way that it's not conflicting with any of the custom installations that your developer may have set up for you. So typically this is more something you want to leave to a technical professional, whereas with Squarespace it's what's called a closed system. So a closed system means that they take care of all the updates for you. You don't need to have someone on retainer every month going in and updating your plugins, updating your site. It's just all in one spot. So that's one of the big reasons why I do recommend Squarespace, is because they're less vulnerable to hacking. With a lot of our sites, even in the last couple of years where we've been migrating from WordPress over to Squarespace for our clients, actually many of those websites have been hacked simply because they weren't maintained. They weren't regularly updated, and so when we went in to migrate it, it was actually like great timing because this is a vulnerable site, it's already been hacked. Let's go ahead and get it off of this platform onto something that's a closed system that's more stable. So I'm always so happy when we can do that for our clients with Squarespace. So that would be the first thing I would say to consider as you're thinking about Squarespace versus WordPress, is just how the maintenance is going to work going forward. The second thing I would say is just how easy it is for you to actually use. If you're not going to be having a developer on your team or even a graphic designer on retainer that's regularly handling all of that for you, then it really needs to be something that you feel comfortable going in and adding to your portfolio, adding those gallery pages and all of that. So with Squarespace, what I really love about it for our clients is that there is a 24/7 support team. And so you actually have access to that as a customer of Squarespace. Now, obviously WordPress, there's kind of a counter benefit, is that it is a free platform. You know, aside from any custom development, you pay for your hosting, your email hosting, all of those sorts of costs are going to kind of be there regardless of which content management system you go with. But with WordPress, you really need to make sure, if you're going to use that for your website content management system, that you're really comfortable going in and updating your galleries, that it's not super time consuming for you on your end if that's something you want to do in-house. So what I love about Squarespace is just how easy it is for our clients to go in and update something after launch day. It's well and good for you to have a beautiful website the day of your launch, and that's so exciting. There's so much that leads up to that. But I think it's even more important that you have a beautiful website going forward. Day in and day out, this is really the face of your business. This is your online storefront. And so for you to be able to easily go in, make updates, blogs, add alt text for your images to boost your SEO, all of that's going to be really easy for you to do on Squarespace. So that's part of the reason why I am such a big proponent of that platform. And then finally, think about the SEO. So actually, this is one of the biggest questions that people bring up to me is, you know, can I really leave WordPress because I don't want my SEO to tank? I don't want to go down to the bottom of Google simply because I'm now on a more user-friendly platform that is easy on my eyes and easy for me to update, but now, you know, maybe people aren't going to find me as well. Well, rest assured, you know, there's really a lot you can do with SEO on Squarespace. And I'm actually thinking if it would be helpful for you guys, I can do kind of a second, more detailed installment on how to add SEO to your Squarespace website. We always include some foundational SEO with each website we do, but there's always more you can do to go further back in your archives, back in old blog posts and things, if you really want to expand on your SEO with Squarespace. So just to kind of hit a couple of those key points, first of all, make sure that you actually have an SEO description set up. Oh, Jenny, you're definitely not alone. I've had so many people ask me about this in just the past couple of months. I think there's a lot of confusion about this. So make sure that when you go into your Squarespace, if you're currently on that platform, that under general information, it's under settings, that you've actually added a blurb about your business that's going to be pulled up by Google. So this is where you want to include some keywords, some geographic search terms if you're location specific business, as well as really making sure you're putting in there things that people would be searching for in order to find you. So make sure you've got that filled out. There's also a section under marketing SEO. That's where that specific Google blurb is going to show up. But there's 2 spots where you can put that in Squarespace. So that's the second one. Something else you want to be sure that you're doing on Squarespace to improve your SEO is to, when you're uploading images, whether it's to a blog post, to a portfolio page, make sure you're either uploading them named for SEO or you're adding an alt title. Basically, this would be Squarespace's version of meta that WordPress has. So in WordPress, a lot of you are probably familiar with how you can add the meta for the image, you can add the alternate title, all of that. So Squarespace has really simplified that SEO process for images just by providing the alternate title box. And that's what you want to fill out with descriptive geographic search terms. So you want to try to think of long tail phrases. Basically, what are people going to be typing into Google that would pull up this image? Google can't index your images properly unless you tell it specifically, hey Google, this is what you're looking at. So maybe you want to put something such as romantic blush and gold vow renewal at, and then maybe the venue name. If you're in the wedding industry, that's an example of kind of the long tail keywords that I'm describing. So basically that's a fancy way for saying a phrase that people are going to be typing into Google. So that's what you would put in the alternate title box. And Jenny, you're asking, so that will get shown when pinned? Yes. So it's kind of a dual purpose. That alternate title, it will also be your caption in Pinterest. That's a great point, Jenny. So you want to name it in a way that it's going to make sense on that platform as well, especially if Pinterest is a big part of your marketing plan for your business. So that's another really important aspect of adding SEO to Squarespace. A lot of times people say, oh, well, Squarespace doesn't do SEO. Well, that's really not true. No content management system does SEO for you. It's all about the content that you're putting into that platform that Google is going to be able to index and rank. And Jenny, you also said you can name the images before uploading them, and that's definitely true. So if you don't want to use that alternate title, if it's easier for you in your workflow to name images for SEO prior to uploading, you definitely can do that. And I would just recommend that instead of a space in between each word in your title, .jpeg or .png or whatever your file name is, use an underscore and Google will read that as a space. And that's actually a tip I learned from Davey and Krista. They are great at SEO, so if you guys are looking for more in-depth tutorials on this, I heard them give a talk at Creative at Heart a couple years back, and that was one thing I learned from them. But there's really a lot of content out there online as well. You can research and learn more about how to build that SEO right into your site in a way that's going to be easy for you to maintain. So that's another aspect of adding SEO to your Squarespace site. The third thing I would suggest that you do if you haven't done it, is that you submit your site tree to Google. So this is very, very important. I think a lot of people miss this step because it's not automatic. So that if you Google how to submit your site tree, your Squarespace site tree to Google, you'll get a very detailed step-by-step tutorial on Squarespace's wonderful training site. They have a lot of different tutorials out there, and this is no different. They'll walk you right through it. It's actually only a couple of steps. The article's a little bit long, but it's very, very simple. So basically you just make an account with Google Webmaster Tools, and then you're simply adding like a \XML extension there, and then you're done. But that's going to tell Google, here's all my content, instead of just waiting for Google to eventually get around to crawling all the nooks and crannies of your site. It really helps them get all of your content, all of those images that you've now named for SEO, or you've added those alt titles. Well, now Google has all of that in their hands a lot faster, and it's just going to help you rank overall higher. So that's the third thing you want to be sure that you're doing. The fourth thing is really just all about your content. So if you want to have a Squarespace site with great SEO, you need to think in terms of, on each page, are you actually providing information that people are looking for? So again, this isn't something that WordPress is just automatically going to land you on page 1 of Google. That's not how SEO works. But it's really about, on your About page, for example, are you including keywords and terms that people would actually be looking for? And of course, are you adding those images with those alt titles? But then also, Google also ranks sites based on how much content you have. So although I'm not a big fan of blogging, I really think that for indexing higher, it is really worthwhile. So as well as, you can really provide value for people. So even though I'm personally not a blogger, to me it's not something that I feel like I can make time for right now. Still, adding some sort of blog pages or free resource pages to your website is really crucial, because that's going to show Google, hey, we have more content, we're trustworthy. So that is really important. Hey Ina, it's good to see you. So let me know in the comments below if you guys have any other questions about Squarespace versus WordPress, or even if you want to get a little bit more detailed into the SEO. Let me know if it would be helpful if I did a training where I'm sharing my screen and kind of walking you through step by step adding SEO to your Squarespace site, and I'd be happy to do that too. So what questions do you guys have about website platforms or anything else? Any questions that you guys have? Now, Jenny, I know that you're on Squarespace, and Ina, are you still on Squarespace? Oh, good, Susan. I'm glad that was helpful. Do you have any other questions, Susan, about anything? I'll just wait a second to see if y'all think of anything. So one thing I would recommend, if you haven't done a sit-down training session with your graphic designer, I'd recommend that you ask them to kind of give you a walkthrough of how your site is set up, regardless of whether you're on WordPress or Squarespace. I think that will really help you to see specifically your own site and get some good workflows in place based on what they would recommend. Lauren, you ask if I have any thoughts on Show It. I really encourage for my clients that we just stick to the bigger platforms. So because of the number of users that are on Squarespace or WordPress, I think they're generally just more documented, and they have better support and stability, and they're able to evolve a little bit more quickly with technology. So I know a lot of people are huge Show It fans, but those are the concerns that I have, and really why I've steered people more towards Squarespace. That said, there's a lot of designers I really respect and love their work. They're doing great things on Show It. So if that's a platform that you feel comfortable on, then there's definitely people that can help you out with that design-wise. Susan, you said you'd love to hear more SEO tips for any site. Yeah, well, I'd be happy to put together a training. I think probably I can do that a little bit better for you, Susan, in another video where I can share my screen and kind of walk you through some of that stuff. So I'll add that to my list for sure. Right now I've been kind of gathering ideas for videos. So if you guys have anything that would be helpful to you, any kind of headache-inducing stuff in your business, graphic design-wise or website-wise that I can speak to, I'd be so happy to put together something that would help out with that. So I'll definitely get back to you on that, Susan. Well, thanks guys so much for joining me. Hopefully this shed a little bit of light on website platforms. And if you think of anything else, want to continue the conversation, just shoot me a message in my direct message. Have a great rest of your Tuesday, guys. Bye.